Today, the board is considering the approval of district policies that apply to LAUSD authorized independent charter schools, which is item 10 on the board's agenda. As you recall, the conversation regarding these policies and the district-required language for charter schools has been ongoing since the fall. So I'm incredibly pleased to report that after months of thoughtful, collaborative dialogue with our charter school partners, we've moved much closer to a place of common understanding about the policies that apply. This clarity is ultimately in the best interest of students. And as I've said many times before, all students deserve a quality education, regardless of the type of school they attend. And years from now, when our students are successful and have realized their potential, it really won't matter what type of school they've attended, whether it was a traditional school, charter school, magnet school, or any other school type. So the only thing that will really matter to all of us is that they are successful in realizing their fullest potential. I believe the policies and the district-required language that are being discussed today move us much closer to that goal, and I'd like to thank all the participants who've worked on that working committee. And I do want to emphasize that the district-required language pertaining to our oversight responsibilities, including the areas of public accountability, student and staff safety, and the purview of the Office of Inspector General remains the same as before. So now it's my pleasure to invite Dr. Gibson and her team to delve further into this important topic. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, esteemed board members, Interim Superintendent Ekshan, Board President Garcia. We want to say thank you for the opportunity to share with you today, and this whole team has come together to really share our story, our journey of a lot of production around productive work, quality work, and ensuring that we have high quality oversight as an organization. So district staff has been collaborating with a variety of different charter organizations, from small size, large size, elementary, secondary, you name it. And I've had the opportunity to facilitate a working group to really take on a neutral perspective where we could truly listen with one another and learn from one another. And I think as you look at the premise of what happened in the 1990s with the charter school movement, it was really about how do we innovate, how do we bring this craft together, and how do we make sure that that information flows back and forth with one another. And so this working group really represents that ideal. It's provided me with an opportunity to really get to know these charter operators and how they're really operating for what we here in LAUSD love to refer to as Team Kid, or putting kids first. And so today you're going to have an opportunity to get up close and personal with this working group and learn a little bit more about the personal understanding around how our schools work together and how we can continue to learn from one another. This work is built on a framework of district charter collaboration. It's really about identifying the motivations for collaboration, identifying and articulating a theory of action together, and coming together around desired outcomes with consensus, so that when we bring forward recommendations to you, they make sense. They're common sense ideas. And we want to create the conditions for success for staff and for our charter partners, anticipate and plan for potential challenges, and we wanted to get some quick wins. So the purpose of our working group as we came together, and I'm going to have Mr. Emilio Pack join me as my partner for this, is on November 3rd, 2017, the board may recall that there was a petition around district required language. You know that more formally as DRL. And this was updated, and as part of the update, the district was to compile a list of applicable policies for its authorized charter schools. This list was to be finalized by April 1st, and indeed we met that deadline, and as part of the board action items being considered here at today's meeting.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Emilio Pack. I'm the CEO of STEM Prep Schools. We have a high school, 9 through 12, middle school, 5 through 8, and we'll be opening up an elementary school. I'm also the chairperson of the LAAC, Los Angeles Advocacy Council, and a member of this working group. In order to accomplish this objective, staff engaged with charter leaders side by side, hand in hand, to establish a successful working group and continue conversations and review applicable district policies. This built on previous conversations that included the broader charter community, so this is really an engaging process. The working group has convened several times to collaborate and dialogue around the policies that apply to district charter schools. I'd like to take a moment and just say that as a facilitator, Dr. Gibson did such an outstanding job. I have learned so much as a leader on how to bring people together, see consensus and commitment. So I really, really, really appreciate that.
That wasn't in the script. Thank you. He's a brilliant man. He's a brilliant man. So as Emilio shared with you, throughout the month of February and March, as a working group, we came together into this work, building a foundation for trust, a framework for how we would work together. And today we're going to share even more of those efforts around this input, but from not only our staff, but our charter partners side by side. So at this point, I'm going to invite Donna Elias up to share a little bit more about what that process looked like for us.
Good morning, everyone. Donna Edlis, the Policy Professional Development Coordinator with the Charter Division and member of the working group. 13 charter school leaders were invited to participate in the working group with the district staff, and we identified the schools with the input of CCSA and charter operators, with the objective of the working group being representative of the diversity of our charter school portfolio.
Good morning as well. My name is Tom Gaetano Scotty, and I'm the principal/ED of Port of Los Angeles High School down in San Pedro. And we proudly serve just about 1,000 students in the harbor area. We're a high school 9 through 12, college and career ready school. And we work really hard to do our best for those kids. And as you can see from the list, oh, by the way, thanks for the voter renewal. Appreciate that. And the kind words. But as you can see from the list, this was a very inclusive, highly representative group that's up here. Charter leaders from a variety of charter school types. So you have well-established, larger CMOs, you have single sites, you have all grade levels represented, and most importantly, all board districts represented as well.
Hi, my name is Carrie Wagner, and I'm the Executive Director of the Girls Athletic Leadership School. We're an all-girls middle school located in Panorama City. So participants engage in activities designed to support the organizing principles of collaborative work, which include, 1, meeting success is influenced more by the collaborative norms of the group than by the knowledge and skills of the group's facilitators. And 2, the power of the group to produce results is rooted in the quality of the relationships among the participants. So building a trusting group dynamic was an important first step.
Good morning, board members. I'm Bob Perry, Charter Schools Division. In addition, to develop a shared understanding and be ready to take collective action, the working group needed knowledge and skill in 2 ways of talking. First of all, in dialogue, which leads to understanding, and then in discussion, which leads to decision making.
Good morning again, Jose Cole Gutierrez, Charter Schools Division. As the board may recall, now as you go to the next slide, on the district required language, otherwise known as the DRL, it's a part of every authorized charter petition that is approved by the Board of Education. It covers requirements for charter schools based on the Charter Schools Act, the modified consent decree, applicable district policies of which today you are considering for clarity, as well as other provisions regarding health and safety, public accountability, and school facilities, to name a few.
As you know, the DRL highlights key responsibilities and accountabilities of the charter schools and the provider as providers of public education. I'm very happy to say that this group does agree that the more clarity schools have regarding the DRL, the more this supports effective operations and instructional practices. As delineated in your board materials, item 10, an index of district policy bulletins, board resolutions, and charter policy documents has been assembled that apply to LAUSD authorized independent charter schools. The list is not intended to include federal and state laws and other requirements that apply to charter schools. The list does not repeat DRL requirements or district policy specific to Prop 39 agreements.
Furthermore, The lists were identified as being applicable to the district's independent charter schools and include policies related to special education, the transferring of student cumulative records to and from charter schools, educational rights for our foster and homeless probation youth, as well as board resolutions on transparency and student discipline and school climate. Now, to help us summarize the progress, I'm calling up Tom again.
Thanks, Jose. And before I summarize, I do want to thank everyone and tell you I was honored to be included in this process. So as I think I speak for all of the charter leaders, and I want to commend the district for this collaboration and the cooperation, and commend all the hardworking folks that were part of this, including our CCSA reps as well. So we're pleased, after all this hard work and collaboration, to report on the progress the working group has achieved to date. First, the working group agreed that the list of 10 district policies apply to LAUSD independent charter schools, and that the district's required language that the board passed in November of 2017 should apply to all charters, and really this supports the clarity for all petitioners and operators. And then finally, the working group identified the district policy on authorizing charters and the charter school authorizing and the administrative procedures for charter schools as the priorities for consideration of policy updates. And it wasn't just those three things that were accomplished. It was this cooperation, this collaboration, this dialogue that was going on, and we want to keep the momentum going, and we want to meet regularly. That's the goal, to discuss charter policy. And then so we looked at June 12th, I believe it is, as the preliminary identified board meeting date for staff to bring recommendations to the board. As we move forward in this collaborative approach to the work, we recognize that a resolution is being considered by the board at today's meeting regarding charter school policy, and that any future action of the group needs to be aligned to the direction provided by this board.
And so as you think about the journey that we've been through, and you think about this journey starting as early as 1990, there's a quote that comes from the National Charter School Resource Center from the Department of Education. And it said, when the first public charter schools opened in the early 1990s, many charter school supporters thought these incubators for innovation would easily transfer new ideas to the traditional public school sector. The membrane separating charters from traditional schools, however, turned out to be more impermeable than porous. We're here today to report that LAUSD has created a porous authorizing environment where we can learn from one another, and we welcome your questions about our process. Thank you.